This is the New England Sports Show. I'm your host, Justin St. Peter, and these are my co hosts, Bobby Kelly and Ryan St. Peter, on 985 The Sports Hub. If you want to chime into the discussion, use the number 617-779-0985. We're going to start off today by talking some Red Sox. A hot topic right now in Boston is whether or not Chaim Bloom is a good GM for the Red Sox and what the Red Sox should do at the trade deadline. Personally, I think Bloom's done a great job so far as Red Sox GM, and at the trade deadline, they should probably sell because they're sitting around the 500 mark, and overall, they just don't look like a World Series contending team right now or anything close to it, and they're battling some injuries. What do you guys think?
I think they should sell at the trade deadline. Also, I mean, he's done a great job with the farm system, but not really in the majors. He's letting people go with contracts. He's not signing people back. But I think he should just sell some players like Xander Bogarts, sell them for young guys, young like pitchers, whatever, and then end up rebuilding.
I think Chaim Bloom's doing a good job with the prospects. Like other GMs like Dombrowski, like they just blew up the whole entire prospect system. Went for a win now. I think Bloom's doing a great job.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest criticisms of Chaim Bloom is that he doesn't improve the bullpen, which I can get behind that somewhat. But the options that they had just weren't cutting it, or they wouldn't be cutting it if they got them. And then the guys they did get, well, they're not doing well, but it doesn't mean that the other guys would be doing better. And like I mentioned before, their prospect system is really good. They have four top 100 prospects. And I think overall, Bloom's just building a team that is going to have sustained long term success in the future.
I think going back to the four prospects in the top 100: Nick York, Tristan Casas, Ryan Bello, and Marcelo Mayer. They're all studs in the farm system, and they could be good 3 years long.
Yeah.
I think Bloom should uh, keep the prospects that they have in AAA or AA instead of putting them in the MLB. He's putting them in a little too early, and they're not proving that they're good enough right now. So that he should keep those guys developing in AAA or AA.
One of the biggest reasons why these guys are having to come up to MLB way before they're even ready, like Jeter Downs, is because of injuries. And that's just something you can't really prepare for. Yeah, I mean, you can try to get as deep of a team as possible in the offseason, which Bloom tried to do that with the pitching rotation. He got two starting pitchers, even with a lot of options already. And the starting pitchers he got, Michael Waka and Rich Hill, they're not too good. Waka's been fine, Hill's been fine, but I mean they're still options, and they're not. At least they're not minor leaguers, and you just can't really prepare for your ace to get hurt, and then your number two in the rotation to get hurt, and all those injuries to happen. It's really hard to prepare for that.
I think we have a call coming in from Will from Hingham.
Are you guys kidding me? Chaim Bloom is the worst general manager in baseball right now. I mean, I cannot believe this. Dave Nabrowski was the greatest manager that the Red Sox ever had. And, he led them to a couple rings, a World Series. Chaim Bloom is doing the wrong thing right now with this team. He's building up the farm system when they need to be contending for a championship. The Yankees hired this guy to make the Red Sox worse.
I think we have a delusional Red Sox fan right there. Yeah,
Yeah,
he has
that is
lots of views on Chaim Bloom that are not true.
just not true. I mean, what more can you ask from a guy who just brought us two wins away from the World Series last season, and he's set us up for long term success. He can't do much better than that. He just signed Trevor Story to a 6-year, $120 million contract. What else do you want him to do? Do you want him to be the Dodgers and sign everybody? Well, he's not going to do that. Not every GM's going to do that. That is just unbelievable that somebody would think he's doing such a bad job.
Yeah, that call was absolutely ridiculous. Dombrowski just blew up the system. And, I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't say anything about it.
yeah, like our former GM, Dave Dombrowski, he brought us a World Series. But also, one of the biggest reasons why we had to trade Mookie Betts in the first place when Bloom became GM was because of what Dombrowski did. He invested only in like a 3 or 4 year span, had no regard for the future, and that's why it put us in a tough spot.
I agree that Dave Dombrowski did not help the Mookie situation. He basically made Mookie want a bigger contract because he just wouldn't pay him earlier in his career. And now Mookie's now at the Dodgers and won a championship a year after. That could have been us if we kept him, but Dave Dombrowski didn't allow that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, one of the other big topics in Boston at the moment is regarding the Kevin Durant rumors around the Celtics. Yesterday, there were some big rumors about Jaylen Brown potentially being traded for Kevin Durant, and obviously they'd have to include some pieces around him, around Jaylen Brown. But personally, I think the Celtics should trade for Kevin Durant. I think it puts them over the top. They'd be a great team if they do, and that puts them in the upper echelon on the same level as the Golden State Warriors.
I do agree that I want Kevin Durant on the Boston Celtics, but I don't want to give up Jaylen Brown, and I would just want to give up first and just no Jaylen Brown. If we keep Jaylen Brown and get Kevin Durant, we're a championship team. But if we trade away Jaylen Brown and get Kevin Durant, we're probably gonna lose, and I just don't believe that we should get him if we're trading Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I agree. I think Celtics should stay a little young. If like a couple years, they could be definitely a championship team. And I mean, if they trade Brown for Kevin Durant, I think that's not a good move for the Celtics.
I think the issue is that, well, I agree, Jaylen Brown, having him on the team, it lengthens our window. Instead of a 3 or 4 year window with Kevin Durant, maybe we have a decade-long window to win championships with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. But I think when you have a team that's capable of winning a finals, as the Celtics showed last year, getting within 2 wins of the finals, I think you just got to go for it. You know, I don't want the Celtics to stay in a spot where they just can't get over the hump, which who knows? Maybe Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum continue to improve. But another thing also is I don't think the Brooklyn Nets accept any Kevin Durant trade from the Celtics without Jaylen Brown being in that trade. Because a guy like Kevin Durant, guys like that only come around in the trade market once in a lifetime. Like that usually never happens. Kevin Durant's a generational talent, and the Nets want established players for him and not just a package of picks and young players.
I agree that the Brooklyn Nets only want to trade Kevin Durant if they're getting a whole future. They'll probably, if he gets traded, be like one of the biggest trades in NBA history, and I don't want that to be on the other side of the Celtics.
I agree.
All right, that'll do it for the show. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Justin St. Peter.
Bobby Kelly.
He's Bobby Kelly. He's Ryan St. Peter. And we're going to sign off.